the Dwarven Tavern. I am your host, Lyric, and with me this time is...
Jeff.
And Lisa.
And we are doing another review. This time we are doing a Skybound games game, and that is SUPERFIGHT. I don't know why that made me giggle.
Entertaining already.
It's a game of absurd arguments. So what this game is about...
No, it's not.
...is... I like these. This is the instructions. It's going to be a simple game.
No, it's not.
What it is... I'm already disliking this you guys being part of this.
I'm already kind of tired of this panel.
Alright, so the setup is separate the white cards from the black cards.
Nope.
Youngest player goes first, but for the sake of this video, I will be the table and you guys will be doing the super fight.
How is the table the older or the younger?
Well, what you're supposed to do in this game is you're supposed to... everybody draws white cards and black cards.
Okay.
And then you go around the table and each person has to use the white card, which is the character, and the black cards, because there are two, and you have to use those attributes to describe your character and why they would win the fight between the two. And then the table as a whole, or I guess it's, and if you're doing just the two of you, it would be me
this part of
deciding.
the table.
Then we would decide who wins that fight.
Okay.
So, it is, I don't know how many people it is. I don't think it has it on here. I guess it's however many people you want it to be.
There's a lot of cards.
Yeah, it doesn't say how many people at a time you can play.
Up to 1 million.
I know it has to be at least 3 because you're choosing between 2 people fighting and then the one person has to, you know, help decide which one would be the better of the 2 fighting.
Okay.
So it has to be at least 3. I guess you can do upwards of like maybe 8 to 10 people, I guess. There are a lot of cards.
Depends on if you want a super fight or a fight club.
But we don't talk about Fight Club.
The first
We
rule.
talk about super fight. Kind of have
The
to.
second rule is we don't talk about Fight Club.
Alright, so youngest player goes first, which I guess would be Mom in this case because I am deciding the who is going to win. Player 1 starts by drawing 3 white cards and 3 black cards. I made a trail of white cards.
So I draw 3?
Draw 3, and then you draw 3 of these as well.
Okay.
Which I need. What is this one? This is not right. These are blanks.
Okay.
Which is cool. They include blanks so that you can decide your own
Yeah, 3.
fates.
Drawing 3.
And here's 3 for you, Mom.
Okay.
2, 3.
Okay.
1, 2.
Do we show them to the other players?
No.
Okay.
So, each player chooses 1 white card and 1 black card from their hand to create their own fighter and place those cards face down. Then they discard their remaining cards into 2 separate piles. 1 for characters and 1 for attributes, so you put those in the discard pile. So choose 1 white and 2 black. Or one white and 1 black.
1 white, 1 black.
Yeah. I always thought it was 2 for some reason.
1 white and 1 black.
1 white and 1 black.
Okay.
Black and white.
Okay.
Ebony and ivory.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so now what do we do?
You pick the ones that you want, place them face down in front of you, and discard the others.
Okay.
Job done.
So far, easy.
Okay.
Next, both players turn over their cards and reveal their fighters. What are your fighters?
Which one is the fighter? Is it the total?
The white one is the fighter, and the black one is the attribute of that fighter.
Okay. The UN has T-Rex arms.
Can I see it?
Yeah, it really says that. See?
The UN has tiny T-Rex arms.
Oh my god.
See?
Da-da-da-da. And for you?
Identical twins, 3 stories tall.
That's pretty cool.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna
god.
lose.
Alright, each player then draws a random black card from the deck and adds it to their fighter. So, there's a random one, and there's a random one.
Random off the top, huh?
So, it was 2 cards, I just thought that you drew 2 cards to begin with.
Okay.
Each player, okay, read that. The super fight. Both players argue and plead their cases about why their fighters could win the fight. So, And then once the arguing is done, the table, which is me, votes for a winner. Feel free to set a time limit for the arguments, which we are not going to worry about right now. So, you go first.
Do I tell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Describe your fighter and why they would win against anybody else.
Well, this is not really fair. The UN has access to a lot of things, even though we have tiny T-Rex arms. But I'm able to use a bear. I can throw it, I can pick it up, I can sling it around.
No, it says used to be a bear.
Oh, used to be a bear. Well, shoot.
So everybody in the
I transformed! Ha-ha! I can turn into things.
Like a bear.
A bear. So you better be careful with my little T-Rex arms.
And you?
Okay.
What is your fighter?
My fighter is identical twins, 3 stories tall, and I think I've got this one covered because they throw bears for a living.
Oh my god! So you.
Little tiny T-Rex arms can't touch me. 3 stories tall, then we lift it up like this.
Oh my god! I can just
Got a
imagine
hand on
you
her
like,
forehead.
pick up the bears and just.
And just whoosh. You
Right
go
into the
back
distance.
to Chile. You go back to Guatemala. You go back to Canada.
Oh my
It's the
God.
UN, so.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, so
Where's the super friends when you need them?
there's a lot of people on your side.
Uh-huh.
The dexterity of your characters may not be the best, but you can transform into other animals.
Okay.
That being said, does that mean your T-Rex arms goes away when you have when you become other animals, or are you constantly have T-Rex arms?
Bear with T-Rex.
I have limitations.
But for the bear necessity.
What about you? You have identical twins, 3 stories tall, that throw bears. Do they have any other sort of weapons?
They can juggle.
They can
And
they can juggle the
juggle
bears.
bears as they throw them because they're identical twins.
Is
So
one
they're in sync. They have this telepathic connection.
is one evil?
No, they're both incredibly good and in perfect sync with each other.
Now, being 3 stories tall means that they may not be as fast as the little UNs.
We are not little.
Compared to
We're the
stories-
whole world united.
Compared to 3 stories tall,
The little
what
tiny little arms.
what other animals can you evolve into? Is
Anything
it
with
just
tiny arms?
just bears?
Maybe salamanders?
I don't know. Can I draw another card?
Well,
That would
that's-
be- yeah, I don't know.
I think
Do I draw another card? Can I peek at any of my old cards?
there are alternate rules.
Can I cheat?
No,
Why not?
because then I'd be allowed to cheat too.
Not if you didn't see me.
Well, if you telling me you're cheating, then I probably have a pretty strong hint that you're going to be cheating.
This is actually
You
really
didn't
simple.
hear it. I didn't say
And
that
if
out
there's
loud.
suddenly 4 cards on your side, then I know something's
I will
up.
hide one. See, like that. You can't see. I got 2.
So now they no longer have short arms.
Aw.
Just for the sake of this game, we'll stick with just the 2, but I'm pretty sure in-house rules you can have as many black cards as you want if you're having a hard time deciding.
Or you
So-
get cards that are kind of.
Actually, it says, in the event of a tie, both players draw a white card and fight to the death with no attributes. Then the table votes again. Do this until there is a winner, then discard a white card from the tiebreaker's hands.
You're gonna lose.
Who do you have?
I'm fighting you with 101 Dalmatians.
Oh yeah? Well, I'm going to win because I get the player to my left and she's running the game, so tell me I win.
That's cheating.
It's not cheating, it's
Well,
the card.
I have the cute puppy doggies. Look at the puppies. Look at all the puppies.
I'm going to make a coat with these guys.
Get out.
That's it. We're done. Okay.
That's what's traditionally
This
done.
was Dwarven Tavern. Wishing you.
No, that's what's traditionally done with 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
Coats are made. Coats are to be had.
Well,
I wouldn't do that myself. But
I have
These
to give
twins.
this. I have to give this to Dad because I feel like the twins are OP in this particular situation. Sorry, Mom.
Your
does that-
clothes are way too tight.
So does that mean that they grew from regular
Yeah.
sized people?
they have purple pants on.
Yeah.
All right. So in the event of this game continuing,
Then we want to do Helen Keller because we don't watch that.
Helen Keller?
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay.
The winning fighter stays on the table for the next player to fight and will not get any new attributes for the next fight. The player who won the fight earns 1 point. So your identical twins would stay on the table while Mom and I would draw new cards.
I see.
And then, because for a regular fight, everybody would draw 1 white and 2 black, and they would all fight, and then whoever wins that round stays there, and then the other 2 players, or other 3 players, or however many players.
It's going to take a long time for me to get my 101 dogs out of here.
The tiny arms that I get.
Just the cleanup of those T-Rex arms is going to be.
And then for the next match, the player to the left, which would be Mom, is now.
Scarlet!
See? I got one of them.
One of the Dalmatians.
Oh my goodness! Stay away from him. But I'll turn you into a goat.
You're warm.
Back away! Get him, tear his legs off.
Don't tell her that. A Roth.
The next match is player 3, which is the player to the left, is now creates a fighter to battle the winner from the last match. So I guess it would be, the player to the left would be me in this situation.
Yeah.
So I would then battle you, and then you would decide who would be winning this match,
Okay.
which Mom is biased already. Because
Absolutely.
Yeah, I lose, period. It doesn't matter.
So, and then follow the same rules for fighter creation as in the setup, then Super Fight begins again. Then there are alternative rules, which is the villain battle, battle royale, and then finally, if the card isn't completely clear, whoever plays the card gets to clarify the details.
Okay.
Which is always something that bothers me if the card is unclear. In other card games, that means that it's just unclear and you don't have a way to clarify.
Right.
So I like that a lot. So that is pretty much the game. We're not going to play it in depth or to completion just for the sake of this video. What do you guys think? Like it?
We'll start with the youngest. Go ahead. You're young.
Well, we have a lot of cards,
Mm-hmm.
so we can argue for a long time. I think this would be a good party game, especially if you had a lot of people that didn't know each other. This would be a couple cards. I mean, this is not a lot. You could pass out a couple cards to everybody walking in the door and say, "Here's your cards. Over there's the bar. We're gonna meet over here and start playing a game." I think this would be a good party game for New Year's, the holidays. Company get-togethers where everybody has to be there. They don't know what to talk about. This would be kind of an interesting game for that, simply because it doesn't take a lot of cards, and you could walk around the room and play this game, so it does have mobility.
I feel like a lot of people will get into a lot of actual fights.
Right.
Over
You
that.
could actually have people. You could pin them
it's a
and say,
good
okay,
party.
this is the winner, and your cards, and you could walk around and super fight actually everybody in the room. So this would be kind of fun. This would be a good con game. If you had a small convention, you could give everybody a couple cards.
Oh, I thought you meant you were cheating people out of their money. It would be a good con game. You could say, "Hey, bet me," and
Well, convention. So you get your badge, you get a couple cards, and you could play around. You could go and talk to all the different people that you want to talk to, and say, "Hey, you're 3 cards. I'll battle you." And you could have a quick little battle, get pins back and forth. I mean, this could really migrate. There's a lot of potential here. It does, just for what we've done, it seems kind of quick and small.
I feel like even though
There's a lot of potential though.
it was quick and small for us, I feel like if we played the actual full game, it would be a lot faster.
Yeah.
So this could be I feel like this game could be as long as you wanted to make it.
I definitely, it has a lot of, and that's a problem with a lot of games. You can add your own house rules to this one. You could follow the house rules. Even though we probably skipped a few things, it still was a lot of fun.
did we?
The rules of the game is that we're all supposed to play, and then we're all supposed to pick whoever is the best fighter, and then that person keeps the fighter that he won with, and then you play the next round.
I like this one I just drew. It's a Girl Scout with no depth perception, armed with a barbed wire net.
Where
We'll be buying them cookies.
That's all kind of dangerous.
I feel
even
like
considered.
with those rules, I feel like a lot of people would keep voting for themselves to be the best fighter. So I don't
Yeah.
feel like a lot of tiebreakers would happen.
That's the reason why I said in a big group of people, you could actually have a crowd. So like say you're at a convention and you got people standing around and the crowd could actually vote.
And
change
there
people out.
are blank cards, so if you have ideas of your own, you can totally add them into those games. What about you? What do you think?
Well, it's quick and easy, which are two of the most important factors in a party game of any sort.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want any kind of a party game to be complex, just because you don't want the time to be held up by, explaining the rules. So it's got that going for it. It's funny as heck because I was just drawing some cards here just to draw some cards and came up with some really funny stuff. For example, a lucha libre wrestler armed with Cupid's bow and scissor hands. How does that even work?
He would win all of his wrestling matches.
Yeah. So just the comedy ensues.
Yeah.
So I really like it. I think it's a great short, non-committal. I mean, it's not like, hey, let's play a quick game of Monopoly.
Yeah.
That's an oxymoron statement.
So I feel pretty much the same as these two. I feel like it's a quick game, it's a fun game. There are things that we may have glanced over just because this is a demo for you guys to enjoy. If you do want to check it out, please do, so that you can see and or comment what we missed. That being said, what would you rate this game?
I think I give it a 4.25.
Go with the explanation why.
Well, I mean, it's pretty basic. There's a lot of, you have to use a little creativity. So if you're not good about putting things together, or you're really, really shy, it's kind of hard. And if you're not used to fighting family members, I mean, I've got 60-some first cousins, so I've had lots of practice. So if you come from a smaller family, maybe not as much. So you may not enjoy the confrontation type of bit of it, so you may want to change the flow. I would have to say 4 big axes and a 0.25 a smaller axe. I would give it.
So in other words, don't get involved with Darth Vader can control hair.
Whiz.
So don't play this game with somebody who actually likes to fight.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you'll
they go
lose,
on
and there will
forever.
be a lot of bitter
Oh
feelings.
yeah, and I think you probably wouldn't invite somebody like this to your party anyway. But if you know anybody that is like because we know a few people who are like overly competitive, who would take this game way too seriously, probably steer away from it.
Or to bring it on and put some money
bring
down
it
on it.
and just hit it with the ball bat. I win. Pow. But I'm gonna give it 4 axes because it's a nice little game. Okay, 4.5. 4.5 axes. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 4 axes. Just because it's a cool little game.
I'm in the 4 range as well because I feel like this game can move pretty fast. I feel like there's a lot of house rules that can be added to it. There were other rules in this that I didn't go into that you can check out yourself. I don't want to spoil the entire game for you. So I think I'm going to stick with a 4 also, just because I feel like this isn't something that I would go back and play a lot of.
Yeah.
Not because it's a bad game, but it's just not my cup of tea.
I agree. And the other thing is that's kind of a downside is that there's no artwork. I mean it seems like this game could have been created or maybe had been created on like index cards.
Yeah.
At first, and then they put them in card form. So there was I mean it's black cards with white text and white cards with black text.
One of the reasons why I figured that it would be a good game that you could pass out at a small convention of a couple hundred people to have an all-around game, you could actually put your logo, there's enough space on it in addition to this game. To help advertise. I'm sure the company would want to work with you on that. Yeah,
I just feel
room
like
for
there's
that.
there's something missing. And
Especially
I don't
corporate
know,
games, you know.
I guess it's just I feel like maybe there could have been another card added, like a wild card that helps explain your characters even farther, which is kind of what that second black card is supposed to do.
Right.
But I feel like, you know, a lot of this stuff is really hard to imagine for some people. So I feel like even though these cards are creative, putting them all together kind of just makes a soup of nonsense. So I'm going to stick with a 4. Just because it is fun, but it is a little ridiculous. And
So it's like alphabet soup with Chinese characters and Cyrillic.
Yeah, exactly. So there's I feel like it's not that there's something missing, it's that there is not enough, like there's plenty
Content?
of black cards. I guess that's it. There's not enough content to make the
Great for an English class. Yeah.
very much so.
English professors, this would be great. Here's 3 cards. Write an essay. Have it done. 45 minutes. Bam.
So I would
You know,
say that
something like
that
that.
would be a 4.25
Yeah.
for us. There is also SUPERFIGHT monthly, so for as low as $12 a month plus shipping, you can receive the newest expansions of SUPERFIGHT before they even debut at conventions. So you can visit their website at superfightgame.com to sign up and check out all of their expansions. This is also the people who made Red Flags, as we may or may not have mentioned earlier, so you can find that at redflags.com also. And they have an online version of SUPERFIGHT, so you can buy that on Steam, which is really cool. And lastly, here is an expansion set, which is the SUPERFIGHT Dungeon mode. Let's just take a couple of cards and look at those. A narrow hallway filled with swinging chainsaws. Everyone falls into a pit trap with 1,000 hungry blanks at the bottom. Draw a random character card. Ninjas. 1,000 hungry ninjas at the bottom of the pit. So on and so forth. So
A dungeon with swinging chainsaws. That sounds like an X-rated thing. Hey, baby. Wrong, wrong.
So, I guess this is the expansion is what I was missing from the original
Right.
game, because this sounds like it could help or hinder your own personal character. So, you can find this expansion at superfightgame.com or skybound.com, because the creator of the game is Jack Dyer, but it is published by Skybound Games. I'll just get all tongue twisted.
A small chamber filled with annoyingly aggressive fungus, otherwise known as a locker room.
So that is SUPERFIGHT. You can check them out at the websites I previously mentioned, and it gets a 4.25 from the Dwarven Tavern. So on that note, we're going to wrap this up. You can, again, check them out on their own websites. And I am Lyric, and with me is
Jeff?
And Lisa?
And we wish for you to want for nothing but adventure. And at first I feared it, then I charged. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.